Good morning, it's FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Mike Johnson, Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing at QEP. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great this morning, Kemp. How are you?
I'm good. I know I've caught you in your home base in Florida, and I wanted to catch up about several things. I saw you at Coverings 3 weeks ago, and then I saw your team at the NWFA last week. First, let's talk about your background. You've been in the business most of your career, went to the University of Arkansas and studied accounting and got bored with that pretty quickly, and spent 30 years at Mohawk, and then a year at J.J. Haynes, which is important to this conversation because you understand distribution, and then 2.5 years now at QEP, right?
That's it. That's my background. You know more about me than most people do. It's been a great experience for me. I was fortunate enough to get a chance to cut my teeth in this industry with some of the best at Mohawk, and also for the time I spent at J.J. Haynes, getting to work with Hoy Landing and with Ray Mancini and the Belknap White Group. To your point, really set me up for what I was asked to do when I came to QEP 2.5 years ago.
And since QEP is kind of a corporate brand with a lot of well-known consumers and channel brands, let's go through that real quick. QEP's got Roberts and Harris, Kraus, XPS Foam, Capital. That's just a few, right?
That's just a few of them. I say it jokingly most of the time when I meet with customers and traveling or at shows, but we're the biggest little flooring company that you may not know about. And to your point, when you look at QEP, just real quick, you know, we're a 45-year-old company plus. We have 3 major divisions. We have a flooring group, an adhesive manufacturing group, and then we also have a tools, supplies, and underlayment division. Between all 3 of those groups, we have 20-plus worldwide locations, and we're very well represented in every channel, from home center to distribution to direct to retail. So we go to market, as you said, with multiple brands, and the one you left off that I'm really keen on is Naturally Aged Flooring. It's a brand that has seen exponential growth over the last 3 to 4 years since it's been part of the QEP family. So I think when you look at all the detail, that statement of being the biggest little flooring company that you may not know it's pretty much on point.
One more little personal comment. You have a twin brother whose name is Keith, and your careers have run parallel, right?
Yes, it has. We were fortunate enough both to come up through the system at Mohawk, and we spent a lot of years working together, and now we're back together again here at QEP, and he runs our Eastern Division for sales and our national accounts. So I love having him around, and I can blame things on him, which makes it even better. So it's a good situation for me.
Real quick, let me just ask you, how's business been in this past year?
Business has been great, but I think everyone's going to tell you, despite the challenges that we had with supply chain, and we continue to fight, COVID and the other things that, you know, for floor covering, it's just been a strong year. We just finished up our fiscal year at the end of February, 1st of March. You know, we were very pleased with the results, not just from a top-line sales perspective, but also bottom line. But the challenges are there. And, you know, looking forward through the rest of 2022, we've got some headwinds that we're still having to deal with increases. While things may be stabilizing from a container perspective or the shipping perspective, it seems like whatever we gain in one area, we give back up with gas prices, drayage, and transportation. So the last part of that would probably be interest rates. As we start talking about that, it feels like inflation is really starting to take a hold on the consumer. You know, those disposable dollars that may have been there this past 12 to 14 months, let's call it. I think they're going to be tighter. I still think we're going to have a great year. The business is staying steady, but I think we have some headwinds and we've got a lot of work to do, and that's part of what we're doing here with Harris, and I know we're going to start talking about that, but we're trying to position ourselves for not just when things are great, but when things start to get a little challenging.
Now, let's talk about Harris. That's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. You weren't there, but your team was. I met with the team and learned at the NWFA show last week that you're getting ready to change your channel strategy. Harris Flooring, what most people know, I mean, it's been around for, I believe, almost 120 years. You know, it was owned by Tarkett for a little while, and then you guys bought it, I think, in 2010. So you're at the show, and you're talking about the fact that you're going to take the Harris brand direct because it's been sold through distribution. And, I mean, you're still going to service the distributors, but they kind of want to use their own brand anyway. So that's the strategy you're moving forward with, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, Kemp. That's exactly. I mean, this is not something we decided to do overnight. When I came in 2.5 years ago, this was one of the initial strategies that we wanted. We knew we needed to implement. You alluded to the time that I was fortunate enough to spend with J.J. Haynes and the Belknap White Group, it was very evident at that particular point that, the old way of distribution, two-step distribution, at least in the flooring products themselves, is a challenge. It's not just a challenge for the manufacturer, but it's also a challenge, for the distributor because of the direct-to-retail relationships that most of the flooring companies have today. So we had to change what our strategy was. Our partners with Harris that we've had, to your point, for well over 100 years in some cases, we value that relationship and we want to continue to grow it. We just need to do it in a different way. We have a robust business with our other divisions in the adhesives and the tools and supplies with our distributor partners. We want to continue to grow that. And then we also have, and we want to continue to grow our flooring business with the distributors through what they're doing with their in-house brands and programs and the white box opportunities that we have. We feel that with our domestic production we have with Harris and the ability to eliminate some of the challenges that we've all experienced over the last year to year and a half, that we're going to be a good alternative and a good option for those distributors that want to continue to grow their market share in that flooring side of the business.
So who are a few of your targets as you go direct now? Are you talking about maybe like CCA Globals and maybe the NFA?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, all the above. That template for going and working in the direct retail market, that's nothing new. Our Kraus brand has been there from the beginning, and then Naturally Aged Flooring is also direct to retail. But Harris is going to be just another bullet in the gun, if you want to call it, for us to go to market with a unique brand and then a good story as far as product goes. And we already have some programs in place with CCA and with Abby as well, and with the Flooring Plus group. So we've got a lot happening from that perspective, but we also are going to have a very strong presence with the direct to retail with our sales reps. We have 70 plus sales reps around North America and Canada and the United States, and we're going to go direct to those retailers as well where the opportunities exist.
Okay. Kind of a new day for the Harris brand, and which is a strong brand. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Wish you success on that. You mentioned earlier your outlook for the remainder of this year. You're thinking that the consumer second half might slow down a bit, huh?
So I think that's just logical. I mean, when you look at what's going on, just with, the indicators that we've always looked at from interest rates, building starts, and those things, even though building is remaining strong, we're starting to see a little cooling in the real estate. Kemp, there's so much going on in the geopolitical world over in Europe and other areas that makes that consumer just a little bit skittish, maybe where they weren't 2 years ago, a little more optimistic. They're starting to pay attention a little bit more to things that are happening around them. I think it's not going to be as easy as it may have been over the last 18 months. I think it's still going to be a good year for the flooring industry, and even beyond that, it just may not be quite the run rates that we have seen.
Okay, Mike, it's good to catch up with you, and thanks for talking to my listeners. Again, been talking to Mike Johnson, Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing at QEP, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.